Alright everyone, so thank you for joining me today for the Ice Monkey review. So, and now that we finished all three paths, we've got all the results, let's compare them. So, starting right off with the base Ice Monkey, in semi-buff, got to Moabs, Spaced and Group Moabs, round 40 for 400 bucks, very efficient. That's a good starting point. First tier, same thing, but a little bit more expensive, so not as efficient, because literally the same thing all over the place. Comparing that to first tier middle path, actually it's the same thing, but it's even more expensive, so it's not good. And same thing for first tier bottom path, which is just a little bit cheaper than the middle path, but still not. I mean, it's not bad of an efficiency, but it's not great for sure. Now for the top path up to fourth tier, just Moabs, round 40. Almost $5,000, and he does the same exact thing as a 000 Ice Monkey in terms of soloing. That is crazy, because that means now the fourth tier is at an efficiency of about 115, which is pretty bad for a fourth tier, unless I'm just used to the tack shooter, but actually it seems to be kind of average. So average, 115 is about average. I guess it's probably kind of cheap, though. Maybe that's why. For the middle path, same thing. It's fourth tier, all the way to 40 with Spaced and Group Moabs, because somehow they can't hit Moabs. But this one's, like, much more expensive. And so it's $7,700 for an efficiency of about 192.5-ish. So, yeah. Not super, for sure. It's definitely worse than the top path. So if you're going to go for fourth tier, middle or top path is better. Now, for the bottom path, it's only up to third tier that gets to the round 40 Moab for $3,000. So, it's 77 efficiency is not that great. Okay, but like it's not too bad either. Because unlike all the other paths, the fourth tier for this bottom path can get to Space OMGs and Group BFBs. Gets around 64. Is cheaper than the middle path, which is about $6,000, so its efficiency is at 91, which is better than both paths. That's a good efficiency. So yeah, if you're going for a fourth tier, go for bottom path, period. That's pretty straightforward, okay? The first three tiers, it really doesn't matter which one. It kind of depends on what you need. Fifth tier now gets interesting. So this is where there's going to be more dialogue, because, well, that's where there's actually something to talk about. So fifth tier, first of all, the super brittle. Amazing shard damage. That balloons damage is amazing. And the reason you got the 79 is because balloons on top of Moabs, that destroys the Moabs, you know? So ZOMGs gets the Space ZOMGs and Group BFBs, round 79, for about almost $33,000. So an efficiency of about 413, it's okay. 413 is like okay for semi-buff. Then the 520, so attacking a bit faster and freeze better, all that changes is to Group ZOMGs instead of Group BFBs. A little bit more expensive, so it's going to be a little bit less efficient. But it did do a little bit better. It's just, didn't beat it. So in terms of this, it looks the same. 502, both ZOMGs, so same thing as the 520, same round, it's just $275 cheaper, which makes the 502, the super brittle with longer range and refreeze, is actually the better option for the top path Ice Monkey. So if you're going to go for super brittle and you want it to be your main damaging tower, go for the bottom crest path. It's 502. Okay, not 520. You'd be wasting $275 for nothing. Yeah. Anyway, middle path. So middle path, fifth tier. Space Moabs, Group BFBs. So not too shabby, but not great. Still diced around 40 for $27,000. Imagine a $27,000 tower not getting past round 40. That is sad. That's really sad. Clearly, Absolute Zero is not meant to solo with. I probably said that like a lot, but that's really the main thing here. And so, of course, his efficiency is going to be really, really bad, because this is not what he's designed to do. It's designed to let your other towers pop more balloons, because they freeze them on the screen for longer. Now, in terms of cross paths, if you really do insist on soloing, or if you're doing a challenge where you're trying to get as many pops as possible on the absolute zero, which one? 250 or 052? 250 basically slows the balloons down more and allows you to pop camo and lead. So both BFBs to around 50 for $27,000. So efficiency of 548, not too bad for sure. 052, so larger radius and refreeze, still BFBs, but gets around 58 and is a little bit cheaper for an efficiency of about 470. Now the reason this is better, the reason it did a lot better is because when you use the absolute zero ability and you're freezing the balloons, right? Well, it turns out the 250 and the uncross-pathed one as well, they cannot attack the balloons that you froze with the ability. So you got balloons going, you freeze with the ability, and then it just stops attacking. It waits until the balloons unfreeze, and then attacks again. The 052 does not have that problem. You freeze them with the ability, he still keeps attacking those frozen balloons. So 052 is going to be the best bet for you if you want to get as many pops as you can on the absolute zero, which might actually be an interesting challenge, but, you know, definitely there. And for our bottom path, so we talked about the fourth tier and how it's so much better than the other two because it's already popping Moabs. Now the Icicle and Pale though, oh, so much better. Spaced and group, the spaced BDs grouped OMGs. No matter what the cross path is, it got to the same thing. In terms of rounds though, uncross path got to around 87 for only almost $36,000. So yes, it's $36,000. It's more expensive than the other two paths, but it still has an efficiency of about 412, which is pretty much the same thing as the super brittle. But it gets you further in the rounds, so it's actually even more. It's worth it, even more than the super brittle if you're gonna use it to just pop as much as you can. As far as cross paths go, the 025 gives it more attack speed and more pierce, I think, is what the second one does. So, still the same spaced and grouped, but it does get all the way to around 100. It beats 98 solo, it beats, 95, it beats all of that. It loses to around 100 BAD, obviously, because they can't slow it down, and it doesn't do a whole lot of damage, so there. It is much more expensive, though. It's $36,500, but its efficiency is still much better because it got much further, right? So 365 in efficiency is good for the Ice Monkey. It's the most efficient Ice Monkey you can go for. Because unfortunately, the 205, at least for the purpose of semi-buff, okay, is actually worse than the 025. Because again, the second upgrade allows the Ice Monkey to pop camo and lead, right? The problem is if you're gonna buff them, like, with the semi-buffs, if like an Alchemist, a Call to Arms, a Primary Mentoring, and an Overclock, well, it already has MIB, so it can pop those camo balloons and those lead balloons. So, well, yeah, it's gonna be worse than this one because it doesn't give as many benefits to the Ice Monkey. But despite that, it still got to around 94, so applause for that. Not too shabby. It is a little bit cheaper, but its efficiency is still $21 higher per round than the 025. So yeah, best cross path 025 gets you more popping power if you're going to push it as far as it can. Now, in terms of comparing it to other towers, so let's see, we can summarize this list: 415. So 415, 550, 400. All right, let's compare it. Let's see. It's less efficient than the Dart Monkey, unfortunately. Oh, less efficient than the Boomerang. A little bit. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh, it's more efficient than the bomb shooter. Yay! It's not the worst tower so far. Bomb shooter's the worst. Attack shooter is like obviously far more efficient. That there's no contest. So Ice Monkey is pretty low there on the list for primary monkeys. But again, the Ice Tower is mostly a support. It's kind of like a support primary tower. So it's obviously not going to do that well at all. So yeah, that's the end of the Ice Monkey review. Semi-buffed Ice Monkey review. Next video, we're going to start going over the top path for the Glue Gunner. And, again, another kind of... Well, actually, top path is very popping based, but Glue Gunner overall is also a pretty support-based tower. So that's going to be interesting to see how it compares to the Ice Monkey. So, yeah, thank you for watching. Again, if you guys enjoyed this, hit that like button. If you're feeling extra generous, the subscribe button's the best way to go. Yeah. We'll see you all next video for the Glue Gunner, and I hope you have a really good day.